Welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making today is a delicious batch of rhubarb muffins. And I'm also going to pair it with a delicious boiled icing. So if you haven't made that before, let's get started. So what I'll do is just add in the ingredients and tell it to you as we go. Half a cup of white sugar and then a half a cup of butter or margarine. And we're just going to cream this together. So just cream this together. You can do it with a spoon or you can do it with a blender. I got both going there, but let's just start it like this anyway. So this recipe today was a viewer's request, and I do have some recipes already on Bonita's Kitchen using rhubarb. We got a teaspoonful of vanilla extract and mix that on in through. Now you could use fresh or frozen rhubarb for this. What I got here today is a cup of frozen. I do have fresh, but I want to use up the frozen because it's nice and soft. What we got is 2 large eggs. I'm going to break it into a separate bowl. Just toss them on in there. Keep your shells for your garden. So this is a beautiful summer recipe. Now if you don't have access to fresh rhubarb right now, do not get alarmed, because like you said, the frozen works just perfect. I'm going to toss my eggs on in with the butter and sugar. So what you do is start mixing your eggs in with your butter and sugar. And after, we're going to add in 1 cup of milk. So I'm going to use my blender now just to whip this up nice, and I'll gradually add in the milk. So after you got just about all of it done there, I'm going to use my spoon now to take it from the sides. What I'm going to do now is sift in my dry ingredients. 2 cups of all-purpose white flour or flour of choice, 2 teaspoonfuls of baking powder, toss it on in, and a half a teaspoonful of sea salt. And then all we're going to do is sift this in with our wet ingredients. So just sift it on in like this, and that'll make it nice and it'll give it a cake type batter. So after you've done that, I'll show you what's next. So I'm going to slowly fold this all together, and I'm going to add in the rest of my milk. So you can again use your blender or use your wooden spoon just to blend it all together. So after you've done that, I'll take the batter off of my blender. What I'm going to do now is cut up my rhubarb in small pieces, and I'm going to show you that. So I'm just going to dump out my frozen rhubarb, and again you could use fresh. As you can see, it's starting to thaw a little bit there. I find using the frozen, it's easier and it's softer for those muffins, and even for if you're making a rhubarb bread loaf. So, but just cut it up in small little pieces, just like this. So after you've cut up all of your rhubarb, it's a little piece trying to sneak away, you're going to toss it all, even with the little bit of juice that's there, right into the batter, like that. So what you're going to do now is just fold those rhubarbs into your batter like this. You don't need to beat it, just fold it in. So after you've folded in all of your rhubarb, grease up your muffin pan. Mine is a silicone pan, and I got it on a cookie sheet so that I can transfer it into the oven a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do is scoop up my muffin batter into my pan and just put it about 1/2 to 3/4 of the way. So let's get going on that. So just scoop up about halfway or 3/4 of the way into your muffin pan. until they are all full. So what we're going to do after we get this done, of course we're going to put them in the oven and get them baked. I'm going to show you how to make a delicious boiled icing. And this icing is so good, you could use it for your cakes or any special dessert. Okay, so after you got all your batter just scooped up into your pan, get your oven turned on, 400 degrees of heat, and that's 400 degrees Fahrenheit for me here in Canada. So now what I'm going to do, when mine starts and it's preheated, we'll put our muffins in there. But what we'll do now is get started on showing you how to make that boiled icing. So my oven is ready now to put our muffins into. So that's 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to be putting them there for 25 minutes. It could be a little less, could be a little more, depending on your oven. So I'll let that for you to decide. Put it in the center rack, the middle rack in the center, and then put on your timer. So while we're waiting for our muffins to bake, what we're going to do now is start our boiled icing. So get yourself a saucepan, a medium-sized saucepan. We need a little whisk, and we'll start putting in our ingredients. So turn on your heat for about a medium to low. We don't want to overboil this. 1 cup of milk. I'm using 2%. You could use whole or the milk of choice. 1 cup of white sugar, granulated sugar, and 4 tablespoonfuls of flour. And I'm using all-purpose white, but you use the flour of your choice. And mix this in. So you're pretty much going to be mixing this consistently. And what I mean by that is you're going to start first while it's cold. Get all of those ingredients mixed in until it starts to combine and break down. We don't want no lumps in our flour. If you're using a different type of flour, still do the same thing, mixing it around. When it starts to cook, you'll see bubbling, then start mixing again until it starts to thicken. And I'll show you what that stage looks like. So this will take about 5 minutes or so to get to that stage, but depending on, like you said, the heat source and how quick it happens. You can see it's starting to get thick there now. You see some bubbling going on. You're mixing it like this, and we want it to get it like sort of like a gravy sort of consistency, not too thick and not too runny. You can see it bubbling and galloping. So we're going to stir it like this. Now at this stage, I'm going to take it off the heat. So you see it's still bubbling and galloping nice there, but this is what it's going to look like. What we're going to do is mix in a teaspoonful of vanilla. Now I'm using vanilla. You can use whatever extract you want to use of your flavor. It could be coconut, it could be whatever. I'm just giving it an example. Lemon, just the flavor you want. That's what we're going to do there. Now what we need to do is let this come to a room temperature. I'm going to pour it into my mason jar. So pretty much the purpose of pouring it into a jar or a bowl, we need for it to come to a room temperature, and then after, when it gets to the room temperature, you're going to put it in the fridge because you want for it to cool down after you've cleaned everything out of that saucepan. So pretty much now I'm going to leave the lid off for a little bit. I want for it to get to the room temperature because we're not sealing this. We don't need to keep this for long term. We need to just get this at that room temperature. We'll put the lid on, then put it in our fridge. When you're making this boiled icing, you need to have one done in advance so that you can not have to wait, and you can use this then up to a week if you want to make more icing, or if you want to make it just as soon as it cools down, and you'd have 2 jars of icing. So I'm going to leave this to the side. I'm going to reach for my other one and we'll get started making our icing. So what we got here now is our sweet paste, and that's what we're going to make our boiled icing from. So this is the one that I had in the fridge, cooling over, well, overnight for me. I got a half of a cup of butter, and what I'm going to do is blend this first a little bit with my blender, soften up the butter, and then we'll start adding in our sweet paste. Pretty much I want just to beat the butter a little. So then we're going to pour all of this sweet paste, which is our sugar, vanilla, flour, and milk, all into this bowl. So what you're going to do now is put your blender on a high speed and get this mixing till it's nice and fluffy. So after when you get it looking like that, you're going to be putting in 1 teaspoonful of corn syrup. And this will put a nice little shine on your boiled icing. Now we'll blend that on in. I got lots of boiled icing over Raymond's camera. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. So I'll tell you what you do with that next. So after you've mixed all that together, and of course it's nice and creamy, I can just spoon this out right now, and I know Raymond can because it's just so tasty. Now I've been using this icing for years, and I put it over my cakes, sometimes my Christmas cakes, because I like to have a little skim of that boiled icing over the top. But anyway, I'm going to take a piece of clear wrap, put over the top, and we're going to lodge this one, or put this one in the fridge and let it cool down, because I want for that butter to cool down nice. And I'm going to reach for the one that I already got made, and we're going to pull those muffins out of the oven, show you what that looks like. But I'm thinking that I might also make a nice summer rhubarb drink that we would have with this. So probably that's what I'll do before I pull those muffins out. So what we'll do while we're waiting for our muffins, because they're almost done, they're just about at the beeping stage, we're going to be using about 2 cups of water, hot water. We're going to be using about a cup of frozen rhubarbs, or fresh. I got here a bottle of wild plums that I picked last year on Pools Cove, and I got that video on there for wild plum jelly. You could use strawberries, you can use raspberries, you can use whatever infusion you want to make this delicious drink. And we got about a half a cup of white sugar. So let's pour it all into our dipper, our saucepan. So let's pour our water on in there. And like I said, depending on how much you want to make of this, you can use double of everything. If you want to make a big pitcher full of this delicious simple syrup is what it's going to be. And I'm going to take my lid off and just pour these on in there, because I want to make an infusion of the wild plums and the rhubarb. But like I said, you use what you got available. Now I'm going to let this boil and start to break down. So after, when you see that your fruit that you got in there, let it be your rhubarb or whatever berry you want to use, is starting to boil, what we're going to do now is strain it through our sift and then put it into a bowl. So you're just going to take it like this and drain it into a bowl. Of course, I'm going to have it going everywhere, but I just want to show you this quickly to make a nice summer drink. And then you're going to let it all drain through. You see all the colors, you know, the nice rhubarb, and right now it's the wild plums that we got there. And once that's sifted through, I'll tell you what's next. So pretty much that's all you need to do to make your simple syrup. Now if you want a little sweeter, you can add in more sugar when you're boiling it like this. Instead of a half a cup, put in a cup. Doesn't matter. Then when you get yourself some mason jars like this, and you fill them. These are good in the mason jars in your fridge up to a week. Or if you just want to make it to use it after it's cool, I'll show you how you would mix it together. So pretty much that's how you make your simple syrup. So now I'm going to show you how to make that nice summer drink. So get yourself a nice pitcher. Probably get your favorite one. This is the simple syrup that I made earlier in the week, and I'm just gonna, see, it's nice and sealed. Take the full amount. This is about a half a cup that's in this little mason jar. Pour it into your pitcher with some ice, and pour in about 2 cups or so of cold water, and then mix that around. Of course, I'm going to mix it around with a piece of rhubarb, which that's going to look nice. And now let's mix ourselves a drink. So if you like your summer drink frizzy with some soda water, you could use a ginger ale, you could use a cocktail mixture, or you can make yourself an alcohol cocktail. But right now we're just going to do a summer drink that you can share with your family. So I'm going to pour in some with the water and some with the soda water, and we're just going to pour it on in because I like that little bubble frizz. And I'm going to toss in some frozen rhubarb into mine, and then top it with my lid. Now this lid is meant to take it out in my garden, and that's what I want to do with it. So right now, this is your summer drink. We're going to have it with our muffins. So now I need to take my muffins out of the oven because I want for them to cool, so I can put on some of that boiled icing. I'm going to put it over on my little grill, my little cooler, and I'm going to take them out to display, show you what they look like. So these are a delicious rhubarb muffins, just how looking nice they look. So I want to let them cool there now so we can put on some icing. And I'm going to take my, I guess, my sugar paste and put in the fridge belong to my icing because now it's at room temperature. So let's get started on that icing. So what I did earlier today is make some of that boiled icing, and I put it in the fridge so it's nice and cool, and all of the butter is nice and early in there now. So pretty much when you make this boiled icing, if you're doing it for a beautiful cake, or you wanted to do it for the top of your cinnamon rolls, or these beautiful little rhubarb muffins, keep it in the fridge, and that will keep them nice and cool. And then when you're ready to serve it, take it out, and I'm sure it's not going to last in. I got some of the icing into my little decorator, and I want to decorate the top of this one because I want to taste. I want to have my drink. I got the simple syrup that we did earlier over it to the side and bottled, and that's how easy it is to make it yourself. I want a nice dollop of this boiled icing on my muffin because it's so delicious and it's not sweet. And I know Raymond probably wants some sprinkles over his. All right then, so I'm going to have this little one. So what I want to do is I want to cut my muffin in half and show you what it looks like on the inside, because everyone I know is anxious to know. And just look of the rhubarb, this delicious rhubarb inside there, and you can see the nice, well, the icing that's melted down over. Now I'm going to have a nice taste. This is so delicious. I can't wait for you guys to make this. Now I'm going to have some of my drink. So nice. I like those bubbles in mine. And I'm going to make some up for Raymond. Of course, we're going to put some sprinkles.
Don't forget to sprinkle
over the top of these, because you know he likes his sprinkles. So I hope you enjoyed our episode today of rhubarb muffins, boiled icing, and of course a summer drink, which this was kind of one thing that I kind of added in after. Of course, a nice rhubarb summer drink is nice any time of the year, but most definitely in the summertime. So if you're interested in making these, the recipe is posted below. Also, I'll share the recipe for the summer drink and of course the boiled icing. If you haven't already subscribed, you can also hit the subscribe button down there and hit the bell, and each time we post a new video, you will get a notification. You can also visit us on our Facebook page, our website, www.bonitaskitchen.com, or send me an email on bonitakitchen@gmail.com. So thank you all for joining us here on Bonita's Kitchen today. Thank you for the video requests to our viewer, and you all have a wonderful day from our kitchen to yours.
I got to sprinkle. Yeah.
It's so good. I'm not going to tell you got food on your mouth. I mean, you don't. She said if it's not up over your face, no good.
No.
Join us by the sea, a journey in culinary, always an open door. Bonita's Kitchen to yours. Bonita's Kitchen, Bonita's Kitchen to yours.